Hey JCDS families, this is Chef Jim here in my home away from home, our beautiful Jacksonville Country Day School kitchen. We have all of our supplies here ready to go to make our pumpkin pie. So first off, what we're going to do is we're going to get all our supplies together. So get your spatula and your whisk. Make sure you have your bowl ready. I went ahead and I cracked my eggs. I mixed my spices together. So you're going to have your cinnamon, your nutmeg, your ginger, and some salt. You go ahead and mix those together, no problem. Opened up my can of pumpkin, so I'm not messing with that. And my sweetened condensed milk, you want to make sure you really scrape that out and get all of it out of the can. So what we call this in the kitchen here is getting our mise en place together, which is everything you need to be successful for your recipe or whatever you're trying to create. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and get going with this. I'm going to grab first off my pumpkin. We are going to just scrape this right into our bowl like that, make sure we get all of it. And we're going to come in with our sweetened condensed milk right over the top of that. And this stuff is real sticky and gooey, so we've got to make sure we scrape it out of there. And then we're going to do our cracked, whisked together eggs. That's our 2 eggs right there. Roll the egg out of there. And then finally we're going to come in with our dry spices and our salt. Give that a little tap. Get everything out of there. And we're going to set our whisk aside, or our spatula. And then after that, kind of want to start a little slowly so that we are not sloshing our eggs around everywhere. And what our eggs are going to do for us is that's what's actually going to set this pie up. If you just went in with no eggs, really nothing's going to happen. You're just going to kind of heat up some pumpkin and some milk with some spices in it. And that's not a pie. So make sure we thoroughly incorporate it. One thing I like to do is as I'm whisking, I kind of like to turn my bowl like a quarter turn at a time. Make sure that I'm not leaving any pockets or anything. And then what you always want to do when you're doing a mix like this is we're going to go to one time around with our spatula, make sure that we don't have any ingredients that haven't been incorporated stuck to the side of the bowl or the bottom of the bowl, and give it one more little whisk. Making sure we don't have any lumps of pumpkin or anything like that. So as you can see, we're fully incorporated here. Everything's starting to smell real good. Definitely smelling like Thanksgiving. So what I have here next is our unbaked pie shell. Make sure you get an unbaked one, otherwise it will be completely burnt by the time your pumpkin is cooked. I have it on a sheet pan, because when you are taking something in and out of the oven, it's really hard to grab this little tin, but it's really easy to just pull this in and out of the oven. And we are going to dump our mix right in there, and it is going to come all the way up to the top, which is just perfect. And you know, every pie shell is a little different in depth. You want a 9-inch shell. If your shell isn't completely full, make sure you scrape out the remainder of that. But if it's full with that, just don't even worry about what you have left in the bowl over there. It's not going to hurt anybody. Don't eat it, however, because it does have raw egg in it. Don't let the kids lick the spatula or anything like that, like you're making cookie dough. So from this point, I am just going to kind of give this a little jiggle, make sure there's no air bubbles in it, let it settle for a second, and we're going to go right into our oven. I have our oven preheated to 425. We're going to do it at 425 for 15 minutes. At that point, we're going to turn it down to 350, and we're going to go about another 30 minutes on that. But it's very important to set your timer for 15 minutes and turn your oven down, because if you leave it going at 425, it is going to be completely burnt. So carefully place our pie in here. And we are just going to close it up, put our timer on for 15 minutes and let the oven do the work. Alright, so that's the sound of our timer going off. We're just going to move it down to 350 and we're going to set this timer. I don't always like to go with the full bake time, so I'm going to put it on about 20 minutes. So that way I can stop, I can check it, make sure nothing terrible is going on in there. Sometimes if a recipe calls for 30 minutes before it's done and you let it go the full 30 minutes, what if your oven's running a little hot, something like that, you might come back to a scorched pie. So we're just gonna give it a little wiggle room there and give it some time to check. So we will check it again in about 20 minutes and I'll show you guys how we're gonna do that. Alright, that is our first 25 minutes there. Our pie out. Got a nice little rise out of it. As you can see, it puffed up for us a little bit. Give it a little jiggle. It's not wobbly. We have one little mini crack in it, which means it's really getting close there. And I'm glad that I set my oven timer for 20 minutes instead of 30. As you can see, we're already starting to get some real good caramelization around the edge there, and that's a good time to adjust your oven temperature if you need to, or anything like that. So what you want to do is take just a little spoon, and you're going to go about 1 inch in from the crust. You just want to poke it in. So we pulled our knife out. Looks nice and clean. If it would have been undercooked, when you pulled your knife out, it would have resembled the batter that went in there before it was cooked. You'd have a little coating on there, but as you can see, it came out clean, which means we're all done. Now would be a good time if you have a little pie or cake stand to lift it up and put it on there. That way you can get ventilation under it. You have ventilation going all around it. It'll cool down a lot quicker for you. Because one of the things about pulling a pie out of the oven is everybody immediately wants to eat it. So we're going to want to get it cool as fast as we can. But do not cut into it until it has had a chance to set up and cool off. Otherwise it is going to completely fall apart on you. And as you can see with our little baking sheet here, not only did it make it easy to take in and out of the oven, but it also caught a little drip there. And that little drip would be burning on the bottom of your oven right now. So little tricks like this can save you a lot of work and elbow grease later from scrubbing out the bottom of your oven. And with big holidays coming up, a lot of ovens take a lot of beating, so do what you can to save yourself on that. And everybody enjoy. I hope you enjoyed watching this video, and I know you're going to enjoy this delicious pumpkin pie as much as I am. You guys have a great night.